Our motto.
Yeah. Wow. We're going to follow up on that particular thing too, but I want to call attention to the viewing audience tonight. First of all, our website, WPBS has a terrific website, but there's an awful lot on that website about Folklore and Frost, which is a series of tours that the station is conducting, and many people will be joining those tours. And there are 3 locations we've talked about: the Big Country and Beyond, which is St. Lawrence County primarily. Then there's Screamers Hollow, which you can find out more about if you look at the website. You'll see some notations on your screen about this. And then the Haunted Walk of Kingston and Fort Fright Night. Fort Fright Night. Say that quickly, very fast, and you'll be in trouble. Anyway, but what we're talking about here is physical locations. And these locations have been identified through the ages as places that have some anomaly, to use your word. Have you had a chance to explore any of these locations that I know, Val, you're, for example, going to go on the tours, so you'll be able to talk more specifically.
I'll be able to go into these facilities and with those individuals from the bus tour, and as they're walking these grounds, I'm going to be walking with them, and I will be able to communicate with any spirit or any energies that are there and help to inform the guest of what I'm feeling, what I'm sensing, and give them some history, we hope.
But have you guys, the question is, a lot of these locations are historically identified. You know, there's been books, newspapers written, whatever. But now this is the year 2009.
Right.
Have you had a chance to go in and do your thing in these places to either confirm or deny whatever it is they're talking about?
We've investigated every location that's on the tour, personally, the Shadow Chasers have. And so, you know, and some of them we've investigated in the past. We're both alumni of SUNY Potsdam, so we did a lot of investigations there while we were at college. But when WPBS approached us about doing a tour of St. Lawrence County, we went and re-investigated every place. So we have fresh evidence.
Unlike Kate and Phil, I haven't. I have been to Spanky's. I like to go into a facility with no knowledge. I don't want to have any preconceived idea as to who or what I'm supposed to expect, because I want to be able to go in and give my own firsthand experience.
Clean slate.
And then validate it through history. When I went through, when I first moved here to the area in Messina, I went to Spanky's and was invited to go down and visit the basement where they had some paranormal activity. And I was able to feel a sense of 3 brothers, you know, young men from, I felt like it was the late 1800s, early 1900s. And I was able to see where these men lived in huts. And I also saw where this was a flood. The area had been flooded. And another person had said, "Oh no, there's never been a flood here." And I was like, "Oh yes, there has." And sure enough, through historical research, they were able to find out that there had in fact been a flood, and that people, these guys felt like they had. It felt to me like they had traveled to this area because of work. There was work to do, and indeed they have shown where they actually did live in huts. You know, so pretty much what I'm able to give them, you're going to be able to go back on your own historical research and find what I see.
Interesting stuff. We have 3 of our viewers on the line with questions, so we'll just take our first one and see what that may be. Please go right ahead with your question.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, I'm Kay, and I just wanted to know, if you see things being knocked over, you actually see it being knocked over and doors being slammed, is that a form, an entity, a ghost?
Well, that's a good question. This goes back to, you know, creaking doors and so on. It could be just a creaking door, but her question is, something gets knocked over. What's going on?
Well, there's a good chance that it could be haunted, but at the same time, you have to rule out that there's something wrong with the hinge. There's something that was precariously balanced that just happened to fall over.
Or you have cats, you know, knock stuff over.
And that's what their job is. Their job is to go in and strike out any explainable reason.
Because when you rule out all of the explainable, then all you're left with is the unexplainable, and that's what we're looking for in the most objective way possible.
So this is not necessarily Ichabod Crane type
No.
stuff. This is, you're essentially ruling out the obvious, the normal, and trying to define if it's paranormal, which I presume is how this all comes into play here.
Exactly.
And you do this how often? I mean, do you get a number of requests to do this? And how would that work?
We
Somebody
stay
calls you
pretty
on the phone?
busy.
Yeah.
We actually stay very busy with our work that we
What,
do.
do you have a business card? Put an ad in the newspaper? How do they know
Yeah,
about you?
you know,
We
and-
have a reputation. You know, I have a storefront business in Messina called the Whispering Willow. People in the area know me as a psychic medium, and when they know they're dealing with spirits in their house, they'll usually call me. And then the next step, of course, is I contact Phil or Kate and say, hey, you know, we've got a live one. Let's go check this out. On that same token, they have, you know, their reputation. And when customers contact them, they may call me and say, hey, Belle, you know, we need your help over here.
Well, you know, the Dickens character Scrooge had, when he saw some of his ghosts, he
Yeah.
thought it was roast beef that was
Giving him a little indigestion.
undone, a little indigestion. And so what you're trying to say is, this is probably indigestion, don't pay any attention to it, or, you know, there's a reason why, or
There truly
it's
is
not
something there.
indigestion, it's something going on.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's where I'm science heavy and Kate is psychology heavy. She'll come in and you have the whole bit.
But then sometimes we have hauntings or, you know, houses we investigate and they are just so active. It's like you walk in and something happens to you, and then it's kind of like you're being objective, and, you know, but then it's like there's all this stuff happening and you're like, you know, this isn't energy. This
Or
is
you have
stuff
orbs that
happening.
shoot out from under the bed and chase you.
That was a great one.
Or you
Yeah,
have like
that's fun.
stuff that appears, we've seen stuff appear out of thin air. We've heard conversations being held by people who, you know, who aren't there. And so when you hear stuff like that, it's like, it kind of makes you believe in the paranormal all over again. You know, we sit there and we try to be objective with our equipment and let Belle be, you know, supply the subjective things. But sometimes there's just so much subjective stuff coming at you. It's like, there's so much. It's kind of like, okay, we have our equipment, but we really don't need it in order to say this house is haunted.
Well, we have several viewers on the line with questions, but I can't let your comment go by without responding. You said he was chased by orbs from under the bed. Now, you have to explain what that is. What
That
happened?
was a case about a month and a half ago, and this one was in Messina, and it was, well, for lack of a better word, the place was dead for us. We're going through floor by floor, and we pretty much narrowed it down to this one room, and we're sitting there. It's been like 5 hours since we've been there, and everything's just mundane. You know, it's like you can sort of feel like there's something there, but there's nothing really going on. You get occasional spikes, and then I was like, I'm going to go check on this. It's like the lights are out, and creep into the room where it's dark, and it's like, okay, checking. And all of a sudden, one of our other members, Steve's like, get out of there now. I was like, what? And I turn around and look at him. I was like, why do you want me out of here? And he goes, move. I turn around, and there's this white blob. There's no other way to describe it. It was just like this big blob thing that went from under the bed, that was like right at my feet, hit the wall, and sort of just crawled over itself and headed off into the closet. And I was like, what was that? I like got out of that room like a shot. And everybody's like, aha, see, it is in there. And I was like, yes.
You're sure this was not a dust bunny, you said, right?
It was an
pretty
awful
big
big dust bunny.
Yeah, it
It
was.
was a dust bunny.
I'm kidding. We have several viewers on with questions, so please, we'll take the first one. Go right ahead.
Hi, Belle.
Hello.
Hi. I have a question.
Okay.
Is there such a thing as evil spirits like you see in horror movies?
Don't get me going on that subject.
Okay, I think that was a worthwhile question, apparently. Is there?
You know, unfortunately, a lot of your paranormal programs on TV, such as Paranormal State and some of those other decent programs, they're made for TV, but the entertainment factor is that they're going to want to scare you to death. And to answer the question about are there evil spirits, this is the gospel according to Belle. I don't believe in evil spirits. I believe that there are lower level entities